Okay, hello and welcome everybody. Episode 3 is here already, and we are beginning work on the residential section. We'll actually start moving a few people into the city, just to have some people walking around and stuff. Plus I just sort of will be jumping back and forth from parts of the city to other parts, just to keep it a bit fresh. So I've just started with this big square section. This will be sort of the main area where most of the residential will build off of. I wasn't really sure where to start, so just put down a square, build it from there, just sort of naturally let it go from there. Just putting in a key. I imagine if this country was real, and once it had got to a certain point of being built up, then I imagine really all of the coastline would just be keys like this. So anywhere that's not deliberately going to be a beach, it'll be a key. Just putting down the same key as before. I really like to look at that one. I think it'd be really nice to walk on there. I'm just putting in this little hook section here to say this is where the end of it is, and we'll actually have that little cove there as an actual beach, which I think will look really nice once I've got some decorations down. So we've got this this main spine of the city, the main spinal road. Don't want people to be turning off that too much, and it's an arterial road, plus as we said, it's a throughput road for the entire country. People will be passing straight through, as well as just using it to get from one part of the city to the other. Don't want too much traffic going on and off, so building the houses directly on that wouldn't make too much sense. So I put these little buffers of these same walking tracks that we used before, and just putting down some roads just off those, and that's be where we'll put the residential buildings from there. As with everything in this build, I take a really long time to figure out what road I want, and I end up with these sort of European style ones with I think it's cobblestone with some off-street parking. So not too much parking, don't want too many cars, but just a few spots for residents to put their cars. Okay, now we're getting into the building proper. So I'm putting down some kind of larger apartment buildings here. I think these are all from the same really nice set. I thought I would put down some larger buildings, some apartments, get a bunch of families in, get sort of the broad strokes so you understand kind of what the skyline's going to look like, and then deal with the smaller buildings and the single family houses a little bit later on. To get a bunch of people in as quickly as we can. And as you can see, I put down a same parking street that we used before down the middle, but then I end up changing this to a pedestrian only path, and I'll ban all traffic on there. So when you're walking out of these buildings, you will straight away go onto this pedestrian road, and you'll have to walk just a little way to where your car would be parked on the street there, or just walk just across the road again, and we'll have some public transport to get you anywhere else you want in the city. So I think this is just a really nice concept for a housing development. Almost reminds you of a college area where everything is within walking distance, and coming outside your house is going to be a lovely area. You can have some green space, even though I don't put any in this immediate area here. And it'll just be so nice to walk out your apartment and have people walking by on these paths, not a road with cars. And I thought, what would I imagine a really cute area outside of an apartment complex like this would be? And I decided to put down a couple of cafes here. I put down a couple of markets, some health food shops, and have these little market stalls. I'm imagining on a weekend, there'd be little farmers markets, and people would come here and sell their fruit and veggies and whatever wares they have, and put a little detailing, put down some more tables, some chairs, and some trees and plants, which I'll need to put a little more green space in, but we don't do that this episode. End up this really cute, I think a really nice little area. And I think as we continue to expand and detail these areas like this, I think this would be just a lovely little residential area to be in. And finally, we're just starting off here with changing some speed limits. Just making the highway connections out there a bit quicker, around this twisty section through the mountain, make it a bit slower, and then the straight bit a bit faster again, and making sure people slow down in a sensible way for these toll booths. But then we're moving back to this interchange, or these dual interchanges. As I mentioned last time, the tram tracks that are running through the central spinal road aren't going to be connected to the tram loop that's going through the leisure and business district, so I had to find a way to connect them both up. And really the only place that made sense was in the middle of these two intersections, because having on the outside of it seemed too far away, and seeing as the middle of the intersection is right in the middle of those two loops, it made a lot of sense to me. So we can have in the center lane, we can have the tram be just a lane to itself where it's not going to interrupt with traffic. But on the outside, we needed a way for it to be a tram stop without getting in the way of the slip lanes. So you ended up having part of the tram tracks on the roundabout, and then having it then split off and then run on its own tram only track after that. This kind of intersection and system probably would never happen in real life, but I thought it was kind of neat, and I think it kind of makes it kind of cool to have this central transport hub, which we then build the rest of our transport area off of in future episodes. I'm just going to spend a little while trying to figure out the best road, one that I like, this little one that we end up on, because it has this little jut out section with the green to show where the tram station is. I quite like that look. Just put down a tram section to test, and it seems to all work. So this is not the final product. We do work on this even more in future episodes. This intersection just keeps getting worked on until we get happy with. But for now, this is where we're going to end up with. And next episode, I think we work on some police and hospital areas. So stay tuned for that.